We're going live.
Okay.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh for all our viewers. And we want to be talking today about the Bandi Singh situation in Punjab that's been ongoing for many years. The Singhs that have been in the prisons for 30 odd years, and they were served with 20-year prison sentences. And we've got a long list of names. We've got Gurdeep Singh, 33 years he's been in prison. We've got Dabinder Pal Singh Ullar, 29 years in prison. We've got Paramjit Singh, 26 years in prison. Jagtar Singh Hawara, nearly 20. Sorry, no, Jagtar Singh Tara, 18 years in prison. Balwant Singh Rajwana, 28 years in prison. And Jagtar Singh Hawara, 28 years in prison. We've had these things in prison for 30 odd years when they were served with 20-year sentences. So that in itself is alarming. So we've got someone ringing in now. So we're just going to take this call from one of our viewers. Hanji, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Fateh. Hanji, kaun bolte?
Just that there's no volume.
Hanji,
Just so we can't hear you.
Awaaz nahi hundi?
No, we can't hear you.
Who can't you hear? You can't hear me?
Not the caller.
Can't hear the caller. Okay, that's fine. I think there's an issue with our line today. It's been playing up early on as well, and I think there's an issue with it, and we haven't been able to fix it from earlier. So, Hanji, going back to what we were saying, I mean, this has been ongoing for a long time, and it needs to get addressed in the community, and we need to talk about it, and that's why we come on here today. We got Sunny on here, who represents AK Media as well. We got Gacharan on here from Dal Khalsa, and we know that there's two protests that are going to be going on in this week. One is in Punjab. I don't know the exact date of the Punjab Morcha and when the actual the protest is, but I do know that the Morcha started on the 7th of January, and it's been ongoing since then, and it's actually gained a lot of momentum. A lot of people have come out to support it, including Bhai Amarpal Singh. He's made a statement today, which we can share with you today. And I can show you a little picture of what he did say. Here's a little picture, and it says, Bhai Amarpal Singh's appeal on the 26th of January, Sikhs should host the Khalsa flag on their homes. And it's very important that Sikhs do that, because it's very similar to the Rajwana case when he was going to be hanged, and we had the Kesri Laird, and all the Sikhs around the worldwide got together, and they hosted the flags outside their houses, and it showed a massive support from the Sikh community for the prisoners that are sitting in prisons and that are being treated unfairly. So as we go on, Gurcharan Singh, I mean, can we just talk about the Indian law system? I mean, there's a law system in place, and a lot of these things that have been sitting in the prisons for, say, 30 years, they were given 20-year sentences. So does the Indian law system, in your eyes, does it work? How does this make any sense at all? You know, you've been given a 20-year sentence, but wait a minute, you've been serving 10 years extra than what it was. So 30 years in total, and still pending. So they're still sitting there, and it's, the sentences are going higher and higher. They could be going into 40 years, 50 years, and that's it. That's the end of their lives when they were given 20 years. So what's your thoughts on that, Gurcharan Singh? Just keeping it 1 minute.
I think when we are looking at the legal system, the fundamental issue that the Indian legal system faces is centralization. So the entire power in Indian legal system is in Delhi. And to keep that power in Delhi, the entire legal structure has been manipulated to a degree that the essence of law itself does not work for the people. It works for centralizing power. So whatever government of the day is in power, they can use legal or law as a tool instead of serve. So law's purpose is to provide equality and justice to all. But in terms of the Indian Union, law is being used to centralize power in Delhi. So Punjab's law and general people's ability for fundamental rights have been crushed using centralization as a tool and bringing entire power from the people to the center of Delhi. And that is the fundamental problem which we need to understand in terms of the legal structure.
So, I mean, talking about the Bandi Singh, so I remember Deep Singh, by Deep Singh, talking about this before his death.
His assassination, yeah.
Assassination, yes. He spoke about it briefly, and he mentioned that every time there's a need for us to get some form of let's say help, or let's say we've got something that we want to talk about, it's not us talking to the Punjab government, it's us talking to the central government. That's like you mentioned now. So, but then the center is so far, and we live, us being in Punjab, or our families being in Punjab, they're trying to reach out to the center. But I mean, there must be like all these different states trying to reach out to the center, and the center just every time mugs them off and says, you know what, sorry mate, we ain't got time for this. And I think that's one of the issues, that center being so far, just and they don't have no interest in what's happening in Punjab. Only the Punjab government could do something if they wanted to, but they don't have the powers. There's no sort of power structure in Punjab for them to do anything, because it has to be run by Delhi, and Delhi decides at the end of the day what's going to happen in Punjab. Sunny, I want to give it over to you. What do you think, about the Indian law system? Is it fair? Is it just? Is it that everyone's got equal rights? Everyone's just an example here. Rajiv Gandhi's killers served 20 years in prison. Indira Gandhi's killers were hanged. So Kher Singh, Beyant Singh, and Satwant Singh were hanged. So they were given the death penalty, and they're not here. They're not here. And even in the prisons, they're not there. They've been hanged, and they've been shaheed for some. And Sunny, what do you want to say about the Indian law system? What's your views on what do you make of it? Do you think it's a system?
So from what I can see and history itself, I can say that it's very unfair. So if we go back in history, so the Anandpur resolution, I'd like to bring that up. That was brought into place firstly by political parties in Punjab and by Jathebandiya. They all came together because they thought there was some sort of injustice to the Sikhs in Punjab, not just in Punjab but in India as a whole, and they weren't getting treated fairly. And as we're talking about the law system now, I'd like to make comments that there's other people from different communities that serve, as you did mention right now, they do a crime, they will serve less sentence. So there was a gang rape that happened in India, in Delhi, I believe, not too long ago, and the criminals were released. And when they were released, they were given garlands around their neck in terms of celebration that, yeah, they've been released. And they didn't serve much of a long sentence. And also, I'd like to touch on other community leaders such as Ram Rahim. So what we can see is that he's coming to the scene, caused a lot of trouble, disrupted a lot of communities such as the Sikh community. He's been accused of murders, rapes, and he's out on parole. So it's just very confusing to the fact that why are Sikhs treated this way?
Sure.
And it does make you question the law system there, as in, why is it one law for them but another law for us?
Some solid points. Gacharan, back to you. What do you think is the reason behind these things not being released? What is the reason behind it? I mean, fair enough, it was 1-2 years, and you could pass it as, oh yeah, you know what, the Indian system's very slow at kind of processing inmates and that, and trying to get them out on patrol or whatever it is. But they haven't been given parole either, and they haven't been given any sort of clarification on when they're going to be released. 10 years later, from when they should have been released. What's the reason behind it? What do you think's behind this? Is there some sort government conspiracy where where we've been told one thing and they're doing a different thing. Because even Modi at one point said that these Sikhs will be released, and he turned back on his word. Badal, going back to Sukhbir Singh Badal, he at one point called. At one point, he was actually backing the Bandi Singhs. Then afterwards, he turned around and said that the Bandi Singhs are murderers. And then he turned back to, okay, yeah, they, we should release him. So what do you think the reason behind them not being released is? Is there some sort of big reason behind it, or there must be something? So the general thing to you.
I think we need to have a clear understanding that first and foremost, the policy, the underlying mainstream political policy in India, that remains Hindutva. And the fundamental problem with Hindutva is it sees the Sikhs or the Sikh Panth as a threat to existential threat to its civilization and its society at large, because they have managed to confront the Indian Muslims and the Indian Christians to a degree that they are being not part of a political dialogue in India anymore. And the problem with the Sikhs in general is they are the only source of opposition and the only voice of reason and fundamental human rights in that country. Now, the political project of Hindutva, the only way they can implement that is by removing Sikhs out of the equation. And the problem at the moment that entirely the Indian state is facing when it comes to these Sikh activists is the problem is releasing somebody like, for example, the Tamil activist who punished Rajiv Gandhi is a completely separate issue for them, because Tamil overall implications of what Tamils do is very limited to Tamil Nadu, but the implications of what these Sikh human rights activists do is the implications of that is India-wide, pan-India-wise, because the problem remains the Sikh influence. Now, you have to understand the idea of Sikh influence. Sikh influence is a threat, existential threat to the Indian or the Hindu civilization in India. This is something we need to understand. This is how they see us. The problem with that is when I talk about existential threat to the Hindu civilization is majority hearts and mind when it comes to there is a understanding within the all the Indian states as a whole that Sikhism is a positive force, and they do not see the Indian regime or this Hindutva regime as a positive force. And the problem with that is the regime understands that if they lose to any defeat or any step forward which that Sikhs will take, is ultimately will replace their form of civilization with the Sikh one, and that is something they are very terrified. And since the formation of this political experiment of the Indian Union, this has been at the core of their fears, and they materialize or physically materialize themselves in one way or another. And that is something we need to understand. The nature of Sikhism scares them to their core, and they are trying to use the legal structure to undermine the Sikh Panth in one way or another.
Sunny, to you. Sunny?
Yeah, sorry. I feel like what this is doing now is that it's bringing a lot of Sikhs together. Like everyone's coming together now. I feel like everyone's feeling like, you know what, enough's enough. And it's really great to see that there's a lot of Naujawan that are getting involved. So in Punjab, there's a political party, a young political party called Akal Youth. It's great to see them at the Morcha as well. And it's great to see many Jathebandiya coming together. So I feel like what we can take is the positivity from this of that.
No, Sunny, the question is that why haven't the things been released?
Yeah, sorry, I was about to touch that. Sorry. Yeah, I feel like they haven't been released is because sorry, back to the point I was making is that because there's going to be unity, because a lot of these figures, they are quite important, quite significant. So just from them being behind bars is still bringing a lot of people together, a lot of youth together. So just imagine them being out of bars, out of jail, the importance that they would bring to the Sikh Qawm, to Sikh Panth. And as we can see that, yeah, there are positive changes that are getting made within the community, a lot of people coming together. But just imagine if they were out, how much more powerful the Panth would be.
Of course. Solid points from Gajalan Singh and Sunny right there. I think you guys have made some really good points. Which are just like people like Jagbar Singh Havara. He's they done a Sarbat Khalsa and he was chosen to be the
Jathedar.
Jathedar and the Qawm's Jathedar. So that in itself is a powerful thing. And the minute he comes out, the Sikh community will have a leader that is fierce and that wouldn't be taking a no for an answer. We got Amritpal Singh right now, but I mean that some lot coming out would just make that movement even more stronger, and that's what the Sikh community needs right now in Punjab. And I think that's one of the reasons why maybe the government don't want to release them. But there were some silly statements that were made. I was watching Akar TV the other day, and they were asked. They asked the people that were there present at the morcha, and they said, what have you heard? Why have these things not been released? And some of the statements that came out was that the political parties in Punjab are worried that they're going to lose Hindu vote bank by releasing Sikhs that have served their sentences.
I think if I can come in, one thing we need to understand is the demographics of Punjab. So population of Punjab. So population of Punjab as it is now. Technically, you are being told by the government that there's about 60% Sikhs in the population, but in real terms, we are talking about 95% who are Sikh, and 1% are Christian and Muslim minorities, and other ones are non-religious minorities. Now, the problem with this is when they talk about the Hindu vote bank, in reality, it does not exist. What exists, we have to realize, is manipulation of the state. Now, the state is using the last Indian census in 2021. They defined Sikhs under the caste system. So what happens is we nearly had 27% of Sikhs labeling themselves as Dalit Hindus just for reservation and financial and political gains. So when you are told about the Hindu vote, what in reality they're trying to do is fool you, because fundamental fact and the reality on the ground remains that Punjab, not only Punjab, the figures you see, Sikhism represents a threat to the Indian system, which it doesn't receive from anywhere else, and they are afraid of it, and that is something we need to understand.
Gajalan Singh, we're getting another call in. Let's try this again. Maybe we can. We won't have that technical issue that we had earlier. And Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Fateh. Guys, can you hear anything on your side?
No sound. Just put it next to the mic, man. Loudspeaker and mic.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. What now? Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Haji, idhar nahi aandi awaaz. Gajaran, can you still hear that or not?
No, nothing.
Okay, I think we've got a technical issue with the phone. So anyone that's planning on calling in, let me just try to disconnect this. Anji, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਹੁਣ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹੁਣ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਓ so the phone's disconnected again. I think what's happened is the audio equipment's having a bit of a play up, so anyone that's planning on calling in, I think we'll be able to take the calls, but it's gonna have to coming back again. ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਵਿਸ਼ਾ ਆ
ਜੀ
ਆਪਣੇ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਮੁੱਖ ਵਿਸ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਸਿੱਖ ਭੈਣ ਭਰਾ ਦੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਕਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਹਨਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲੰਡਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਹੋਣਾ ਹੈ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਪਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੇ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀ ਹੈ ਬਟ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਲੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਆਉਣ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਜ਼ਿਸ਼ ਆ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ ਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਸੋ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਸਿੱਖ ਭੈਣ ਭਰਾ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਪੂਰਾ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਇਸ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਕਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ
okay thank you ਭੈਣ ਜੀ thank you for calling in thank you
yeah.
So yeah, we've had one of the callers just come in, call in, and that, and they're showing support for the movement, and they're very happy that this is going on. The morcha is going on in Punjab, and the morcha that's happening in the UK as well. The Sikhs are getting together, and it's very important we get together and we show solidarity in the protests that are going to be happening. About the protests, I think let's just mention this early in the group in London. Outside the Indian High Commission on the 26th of January, which is a Thursday, so in about 2 days' time, between 1 p.m. till 3 p.m., it might overrun a little bit. There will be a protest to show support for the Bandi Singh's release. So, PM from our channel, AK Media to benti ya ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ please ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੋ ਨਾਲੇ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਬਣਦੀ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪ ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਉਠਾਉਣੀ ਨਾਲੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਭਰਾ ਨਾਲ ਮੋਢੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੋਢਾ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ we won't stand for this. If there's someone in prison, and we got the whole purpose of Bandi Chhod Divas. What is the purpose of Bandi Chhod Divas? We can't even release our own political prisoners. How are we going to release other people of other faiths' political prisoners? I mean, this is our responsibility. And the third question that we're going to go into is why haven't what has so far the organizations that are in the UK and in Punjab, what have they done so far? Let's talk about that because it's been so long and this is like an ongoing problem. So what have they done? Gurcharan, first we'll begin with you.
So what has happened is as far as Bandi Singhs are concerned, before this morcha there has been individual pursuits of individual cases. So we had the Rajwana case, as we are fully aware, and we had the Kesari Lad, and we had Professor Devinder Paul Puller's case and his awareness, and we had some individual matters on the cases, as we are aware, limited to UK, of I think Jaggi as well, and others as well. But collectively, there has not been at a COM or a nation level, international level campaign. So which that is trying to address this current movement. So what we had under the Rajwana point, or the Kesari Lahar, and the Professor Devinder Puller and X, Y, and Z. Now the attempt is to bring all those different pillars under a single Nishan Sahib and present a single political point of view. Now, addressing that, we need to, I think, need to make two things very clear. That what is happening in general, the Sikhs is these are violations of fundamental human rights, and they are being done deliberately to target the Sikhs. And these people, the only reason they are in prison is because they are Sikhs. And these are two fundamental points which we must make. And the only resolution ultimately would be self-determination. And I think this time around, so we had a lot of confusion in the Kisan Morcha. But I think as far as this morcha is concerned, there is very clarity. We have Amrit Pal's group. We have almost every single group at the moment present there. First and foremost, they have a single flag, and that's a Nishan Sahib. That is something Deep Sidhu and his Shahadat has made it very clear that we must have a single banner and a single flag. So that is there. And secondly, I think idealistically, the main leaders of at that moment of the agitation, from all these different figureheads, they are clear that ultimately our freedom and separation from Delhi is the only option.
Sunny, you wanna jump in on that? What's the reason why these organizations are reluctant to do something, or why haven't they been able to do something positive over the past 10, 15 years since these sentences have come to an end, but the things are still stuck in the prison cells? Sunny, is there a reason why these organizations have failed, or what's the reason behind it? You want to just fill us in? What's your thoughts on it?
Firstly, I'd like to say there has been some sort of change where some organizations are willing to work together. But firstly, it was social media wasn't as strong about 10, 15 years ago. So it was very hard for organizations to network with each other. Another reason why I'd say is I feel like this was just what I feel is that I feel like some organizations might have a personal agenda and where they are not willing to work with other organizations for X, Y reason. But my answer to that is that personal problems should be left whenever Bantik matters appear, because no personal problem is higher than Bantik problems. So Bantik problems, all it should be taken care of regardless of whatever issues people have or individuals have with each other. We shouldn't be selfish. And as you did mention, as that we should all come under one banner, as Deep Sidhu said, and also Sanjay Nelson, you said as well, that we need to come under one mutti, under one Nishan side, because this isn't just my issue, your issue, Gurjan's issue, or so-and-so's issue. This is a whole bunch issue, and we need to acknowledge that.
Yes, thank you, Sunny. That's, you got some points there that are very valid, and I'm pretty sure some of our viewers that are listening will take them on board, especially with the.
I just wanted to mention that we are live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and people will encourage people to join us, like and subscribe to our various channels, so we can get the word out to a wider audience, so this views could be shared. So all of your personal WhatsApp group, personal groups, and Facebook and X, Y, and Z. If you could share the message so we can get a wider message out, because getting the message out is just as much of the struggle as it is a physical struggle in protest. So I will encourage everybody to share it as much as they can.
So there's a short video that I'm going to be playing now. So it's just about the shaheeds from the 1984 and until now, and then the things that are been stuck in the prisons. A little bit about them, and there's some pictures and a bit of information. So I'm just going to play that now. So that'll be coming up now.
ਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੋਂ ਜੰਮ ਪਿਆ ਉਸੇ ਦਿਨ ਤੋਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਕੇਸ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਤਾਂ ਇਸਨੇ ਫੈਸਲਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ ਜਦੋਂ ਜਨਮ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਹੈ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਮਨੁੱਖ ਤੇ ਕੇਸ ਬਣਿਆ ਮਰਨ ਲਿਖਾਏ ਮੰਗਲ ਮੈਂ ਆਏ ਉਥੇ ਮਰਨਾ ਲਿਖਾ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਮਾਤਲਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਏ ਉਥੇ ਬਣਿਆ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਚਰਖੜੀ ਦੀ ਫੋਟੋ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਚਰਖੜੀ ਤੇ ਚੜਨਾ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਟੋਕਾ ਕੋਲ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਸਾਡਾ ਬੰਦ ਕੱਟਿਆ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਸੱਚ ਕਹਿਣ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਫੇਰ ਰੰਬੀ ਕੋਲ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਖੋਪਰੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਲੱਥੇਗੀ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਰੋਟੀ ਖਵਾਉਣੀ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕਾਉਣਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਪਿਆਉਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਲੱਥਣੀ ਹੈ
ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੰਤ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆਏਗਾ ਉਹ ਸੰਤ ਜਰਨੈਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਦਾ ਪਿਤਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਹੋਵੇ ਭਤੀਜਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੋਵੇ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡੇਗਾ
ਕਿ ਹਜ਼ਾਰਾਂ ਮਾਵਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੁੱਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਡੀਕ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਇੰਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਕਰ ਦਿਓ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਪੁੱਤ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ
Then mic is off. Your mic is off. Just
Sorry, guys. Yeah. So that was the video. I've realized while the video played what was going on with the audio because I've been getting phone calls still coming in. Unfortunately, there's a wire missing on the back of the audio set that goes into the computer. So I've requested my my family to bring that
Technical
over.
team.
Yeah.
Your
So,
technical.
we didn't realize until now. So yeah. Let's just move on now. So the other questions that we have that have kind of really been there, but they haven't really been answered for so long, is has the Sikh leadership failed? I think that's a real big question. Personally, myself, I've been following the Sikh politics in Punjab for a little while now. Since Deep Sidhu came on the scene, then we had other players in the scene as well, like even Sidhu Moosewala, and they all were in the political game and they're all in the political circles. But the question is, has the Sikh leadership in this failed? We know that Deep Sidhu spoke about this openly. He went out of his way to talk about Bandi Singhs. He was the one that was raising these points at the time. But what is Gacharan's view on this? What's your view? What do you think about that the leadership, have they played a positive role in this? Have they done what they're supposed to be doing? And when we talk about leadership, we're talking about SGPC as well, and the other organizations that are present on the scene.
I think Nachatra Singh is on the show as well. Okay, he's gone. I think in terms of leadership, I think I would like to say two things. Firstly, we must support our leadership when it comes through the scene. For example, I'll give you an example of Amritpal.
Yes.
Amritpal has come through and trying his best now. He might have his problems and his shortcomings, but you see, in Punjab, the situation that we are facing and the work he is doing, even with his mistakes, what we must realize, we need to support our activists. Now, the biggest problem we have at the moment is that, so in Punjab, there are two forms of political ideology. One is the comrade or the left-wing Indian unionist ideology, and the secondly is the ideology of the Sikh Panth. Now, when it comes to the ideology of the communist or this Bhagat Singh, Shahid Ajam, or all of this nonsense of Kisan unions and X, Y, and Z, these people have shown the capability of working together to a degree that they brought in Kejriwal and his Aam Aadmi Party from all the way Delhi and made him mainstream in Punjab, and to a degree try to make him mainstream amongst the Sikh people throughout the world. Now, our problem is, I think we see the current situation with Amritpal and the struggles which he's going through and the struggles which he's suffering through at the moment with getting his message across. Now, I don't think these are, yes, he might have made some mistakes. Those are not relevant. What we really need to look into is, how is a youth leadership meant to come through the scenes if we as a people are always going to question and not support our own people? And I think that is becoming a bigger problem day by day. Our people are becoming so fixated and limited to the little isolated to their little political box that they're unwilling to even comprehend the concept of the Panth. And I think the struggles of Amritpal Singh are embodying that struggle at the moment. And I think we need to learn. Couple of the large group which was with him, which came to support him, have disappeared. And that is a very, in some sense,
Charan,
that is. Hanji, go on.
Sorry,
I'll carry on after.
we got a call coming in. We'll take off after that. Hanji ji, Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru
ਜੀ ਬਤੇ ਕੀ ਹਾਲ ਚਾਲ ਹੈ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਗਿਆਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਕੀ ਹਾਲ ਚਾਲ ਹੈ? ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ?
ਮੈਂ ਠੀਕ ਠਾਕ ਜੀ, ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਦਾ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵਧੀਆ। ਹਾਂਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਵ ਹੈ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਤੇ।
ਅੱਛਾ ਜੀ।
ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕੋਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੁੱਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ, ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਕਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਅੱਜ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਤੇ ਆ। ਨਾਲੇ
ਜੀ
ਸਿੰਘ ਸਭਾ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਸਵੇਰੇ। ਸਿੰਘ ਸਭਾ ਸਾਊਥਲ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਸਵੇਰੇ, ਸਿੰਘ ਸਭਾ ਸਾਊਥਲ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੋਸਟਰ ਭੇਜੇ ਸੀਗੇ।
ਇਹ ਹਰਮੀਤ ਨੂੰ ਭੇਜੇ, ਹਰਮੀਤ ਨੂੰ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਹਰਮੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੂੰ। ਨਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ
ਜੀ
ਕਿਹਾ
ਜੀ
ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਇਹ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਪੋਸਟਰ ਸੀਗੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਲਾਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਤਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਰਿਪਲਾਈ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ, ਜਵਾਬ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀ
ਨਹੀਂ
ਲਾਉਣੇ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਉਣੇ।
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਕੋਈ ਜਵਾਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ। ਹਰਮੀਤ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਪੋਸਟਰ ਮੰਗਾ ਦੇ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਭੇਜ ਦੇ, ਮੈਂ ਕਰ ਦੂੰਗਾ। ਉਹ ਪੋਸਟਰ ਹੀ ਭੇਜੇ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕੀਤਾ, ਇਹਨੇ ਕੱਖ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ। ਇਹ ਲੜ ਡੱਪੇ ਹੁਣ ਫੋਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੁੱਕਦਾ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ,
ਅੱਜ ਵੀ 2 ਵਾਰ 3 ਵਾਰੀ ਫੋਨ ਕੀਤਾ, ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਜਵਾਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਇਹਨੇ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ। ਨਾਲੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੀ ਖਿਆਲ ਆ ਕਿ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ
ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ,
ਸੰਤਾਂ ਦੀ ਫੋਟੋ ਬਾਹਰ ਲੱਗੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ, ਨਾਲੇ ਇਹ ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੇ
ਭਾਈ
ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਨੂੰ।
ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਆ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਕਿ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਿਸੇ ਲਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੌਮ ਲਈ ਗਏ ਆ ਅੰਦਰ।
ਜੀ
32 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਆ ਉਹ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਆ। ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਦਾ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਇਹ ਸਟੈਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈ ਰਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰੀਏ। ਕੋਈ ਮੁਜ਼ਾਹਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਨਹੀਂ, ਕੋਈ ਰੈਲੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਹੁਣ ਇਹ 26 ਜਨਵਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਮੈਸੀ ਮੋਰੇ ਜਾਣਾ। 26 ਜਨਵਰੀ ਸਿਰਫ ਮੁਜ਼ਾਹਰਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਕਾਲਾ ਦਿਨ ਮਨਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਹੁਣ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਲੱਗ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ। ਸਾਡਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਮੇਨ ਹੈਗੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਕਰੀਏ, ਬੰਦੇ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ। ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ। ਕੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਇਸੇ ਕੰਮ ਨੂੰ ਆ ਵੀ ਅਖੰਡ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਾਓ, ਭੋਗ ਪਾਓ, ਲੰਗਰ ਛਕੋ ਤੇ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਓ। ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਫਰਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਦਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਚ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ।
ਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਚਲੋ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਹੁਣ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਸ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਾ ਸੀ ਨਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਆ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ, ਗੁਰਚਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਰਦਾਸਾਂ ਕਰਾਉਣੀਆਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਸਤਵੰਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀਆਂ, ਕੇਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀਆਂ, ਨਾਲੇ ਬੇਅੰਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀਆਂ, ਉਹੀ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਆ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣ ਦੇਣੀ ਹੈਗੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣ ਦੇਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਚ, ਉਹੀ ਕਮੇਟੀਆਂ ਇਹ। ਪਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਆ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ, ਨਾਲੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿਊਅਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਹੀ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਹਾਲ ਕੀ ਆ। ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਮਤਲਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਸ ਇਹੀ ਆ ਗੋਲਕ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨਾ, ਉਹੀ ਗਿਣਨ ਜੋਗੇ ਆ ਇਹ।
ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾ ਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੋਲਕ ਰੱਖੀ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਚੁੱਕ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਆ, ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਦੇਖੋ ਉਹ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਠਾ ਕੇ ਚਲੇ ਗਿਆ, ਭੀੜ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ।
ਦੂਜੇ ਨੰਬਰ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਦੇਖੋ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 1.5 ਲੱਖ ਪੌਂਡ ਖਰਾਬ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਦੇ। ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ 1.5 ਲੱਖ ਪੌਂਡ ਖਰਾਬ ਕਰਦੇ ਤੇ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਊਗਾ। ਸੰਗਤ ਦੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਖਰਾਬ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹ। ਕੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਰਬ ਸੰਮਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ? ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਇਲਜ਼ਾਮ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਤੇ ਲਾਉਣ, ਉਹ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਬੰਦਾ, ਉਹ ਦੂਜੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦਾ, ਉਹ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਬੰਦਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਇਲਜ਼ਾਮ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਸਮਾਂ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਤੋੜ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਵੀ 11,000 ਦੇ ਵੋਟ ਮੇਰੇ 5500 ਵੋਟ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਗਾਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਸੰਗਤ ਟੁੱਟ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਸਮਾਂ ਸਾਥ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਸਭ ਸਮਝੀ ਨਾ।
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ
ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੀ
ਗਿਆਨ ਸਿੰਘ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸੋ, ਹੁਣ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਪੋਲਿਟਿਕਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਪੈਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੀ ਪੋਲਿਟਿਕਸ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ, ਬਹੁਤ ਗੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੀ ਪੋਲਿਟਿਕਸ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ।
ਗੰਦੀ, ਪਰ ਸੰਗਤ ਥੋੜੀ ਵੀ ਕਰੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਪੋਲਿਟਿਕਸ, ਬਹੁਤ ਪੋਲਿਟਿਕਸ ਖੇਡਦੇ ਆ
ਸਾਡੇ
ਵੋਟਾਂ ਦੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਨਾ।
ਸਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ, ਫॉर ਅਸ ਇਨ ਦ UK, ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਹਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ? ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਸਟੈਪ ਚੁੱਕਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਦੱਸੋ।
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਵੱਡਾ ਮੇਨ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ 100 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਖੋਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਈਏ, ਠੀਕ ਨੀ। ਦੂਜੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਸੋਚ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਵੀ ਗਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਸੁਧਾਰ ਲਈ ਕੋਈ ਲਹਿਰ ਚਲਾਈਏ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਇੱਕ ਜੋ ਬਦਨਾਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੋਲਿਟਿਕਸ ਖੇਡਦੇ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਪੋਲਿਟਿਕਸ ਬਾਹਰ ਕਰੀਏ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ। ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਹੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਜੀ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸ ਦਿਓ ਸਾਨੂੰ, ਨਹੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਵਿੱਚ, ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਲੈ ਨਹੀਂ।
ਬਸ ਮੇਰੀ ਇਹ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਵੀ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਕੈਚ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ 100 ਸਾਲ ਨੂੰ। ਮੇਨ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ ਕਰੋ। ਕੋਈ ਬਿਆਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦਾ, ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ। ਗੱਲ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੀ। ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਅਖੰਡ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਾਓ ਜੀ, ਭੋਗ ਪਾਓ, ਲੰਗਰ ਚੋਂ ਘਰ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਓ, ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ।
ਸਹੀ ਗੱਲ,
ਥੋੜਾ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਵਿੱਚ।
ਸਾਡੀ ਆਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੋਸਟਰ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਟ ਕਰ ਲਏ ਸੀਗੇ, ਕਿਹੜੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਟ ਕਰਨੇ ਆ?
ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਟ ਇੱਕ ਪੋਸਟਰ ਮੰਗਾਏ, ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ, ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਫਿਰ ਫੋਨ ਕੀਤਾ, 26 ਜਨਵਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ, ਉਹਦੇ ਬਿਜੀ ਹੋਏ ਆ।
ਓਕੇ
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਈ ਅੱਜ ਮੇਰੀ।
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੋਸਟਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੰਤਜ਼ਾਮ ਕਰ ਲਓ, ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਦਾ ਜਥਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੱਲ ਜੂੰਦੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਨਾਲ, ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਚੱਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਲਾ ਦੇਣੇ ਪੋਸਟਰ, ਇਹ ਕੌਮ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਸੀ। ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਮੈਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਸੀ, ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ,
ਜੀ
ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਦੇਣਾ।
ਓਕੇ ਜੀ,
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ,
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। So Singo, that was Gyan Sion from Southall. He rang in the morning and he told us that this morning last night he messaged the committee in Southall, Singh Sabha Gurdwara. He sent them all the information and they haven't been responding to him. So if they did respond to him, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll see about this. So kira qawm da masala hunda ya, we got the biggest Gurdwara, santan di photo lai hui ya bahar Gurdware de, bandi ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ. When it was the Gurdwara elections, these same guys were knocking on people's doors and begging them for votes. Now ਜਦੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੌਮ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਪਈ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਸਿੰਘ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ. My view on Jagtar Singh Hawara is just basic knowledge. The person that there was two people. Dilawar Singh was a police officer. Jagtar Singh Hawara was a police officer. No, Jagtar Singh Hawara, Rajwana. One Singh Rajwana was a police officer. So both of them are police officers in 1995. And when there was a bomb blast that killed Beyant Singh, which was the chief minister of Punjab at the time, and he was committing a lot of atrocities against Sikhs. So youngsters were getting picked up, they were getting murdered, they were getting killed. So two police officers that had seen what he was doing decided that he would have to be killed. So they took it upon themselves to wrap a bomb. Dilawar Singh wrapped a bomb around himself and he blew up the car, killed Beyant Singh, and Bhai Rajwana ji was the backup bomber, and he is the one that's in prison now. So he served 20 years and he still hasn't come out. But the story behind it is that to them, being police officers, they saw what was happening, they saw the corrupt system, and they decided that the only way around it was for them to take the law into their own hands, and they did. But for that, they've served 20 years in prison. They've served 20 years in prison. It's been coming up to 30 years, so 10 years additional to the sentence, to the sentence that were handed down to them. So they've been in prison for nearly 30 years when they should have been out 10 years ago. And that's why we're here today, and that's why we're talking about it. And I think this is very important. We had to talk about it. We've had so many messages from so many people. They said, why is all these channels, the Sikh channel and etc., why are they quiet on the matter? Why are they scared of the matter? Why are they not speaking about something that matters to the community? How big of a thing is this? Yes, Sunny. What would you like to say?
What I'd like to say is that what they done is what they got put through, what they had to go through. So imagine just putting yourself in Bhai Rajwana and Bhai Dilawar Singh's shoes and being police officers, seeing the amount of atrocities that are happening against Sikhs, and seeing Sikh women getting raped by police officers, seeing Sikh men get tortured, young boys get tortured, going through all of that. So obviously, like, no one wants to put themselves in a situation where they want to be a suicide bomber, but they thought enough was enough, and it mentally affected them. And no one decides to one day just get up and think, you know what, I'm going to fight for the lair, or I'm going to fight for this cause. They saw something, they experienced something where they felt, you know what, we're in danger, we have to do something about it, we have to sacrifice. So in Sikhi, we believe in sacrifice. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they sacrificed themselves. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they sacrificed themselves. Guru Gobind Singh Ji's whole family sacrificed themselves. The Khalsa has always been sacrificing themselves to fight against tyranny. And there are some organizations that I've spoken to in the past, and they've said that, you know what, Hawara isn't doing anything for the Qawm, we don't need to do anything. No, we're not going to brush Hawara away, because Hawara done a lot for the Qawm. And right now, they're the Jathara of the Sikh Panth. So that's just like saying, let's just say the Pope gets picked up tomorrow, gets arrested, and gets given a 20-year sentence, and are the Christians not going to stand up for it? Is there not going to be uproar in the Christian community? So likewise, I feel like as Sikhs, we should back Hawara and back the Sikh political prisoners and fight this movement.
Yes, Sunny. You made some really good points there. I mean, there's someone else ringing in now. There was loads of people ringing in earlier, so let's just take this call. Hanji, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਫਤਿਹ, live on the show.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ,
ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਵੀਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਅਗੇਨ। ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਭਾਜੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ। ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਿਸ਼ਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦਾ, ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ। 26 ਤਰੀਕ ਨੂੰ ਵੱਧ ਚੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਐਮਬੈਸੀ ਦੇ ਮੂਹਰੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ,
ਯੂਕੇ ਵਿੱਚ
ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੀ ਰਿਹਾਇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਲਈ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਨਾਲੇ
ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਪੀਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਪਹੁੰਚਣ ਉੱਥੇ।
ਉਸ ਦਿਨ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਕੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਹੈ? ਕਿੰਨੇ ਚਿਰ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ? ਟਾਈਮ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ 1 PM to 3 PM। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਉੱਤੇ?
ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹਦੀ ਬਾਹਲੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਜੀ।
ਅੱਛਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਖੁਦ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ 100% ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ।
ਅੱਛਾ ਜੀ, ਨਾਲੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਹੋਰ ਕੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਤੇ? ਕੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ? ਫੇਰ ਆ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਫੇਰ?
ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦਾ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਤਾਂ ਬੇਕਾਰ ਆ ਜੀ। ਸਾਡੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਕ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ, ਡਿਮੋਲਿਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸਵੇਰ ਤੋਂ ਜੀ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਉੱਥੇ ਡੈਮੋਕ੍ਰੇਸੀ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੀ ਜੀ। ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਹੀ। ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਤਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੀ। ਬਾਕੀ ਤਾਂ ਹਜੇ ਮਾੜੇ ਮੋਟੀ ਦੀ ਕੁਛ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਜੀ। ਸਿੱਖ ਤਾਂ ਗੁਲਾਮ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ।
ਕਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੀ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਆ?
ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਭਾਜੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਖਾਸ ਬੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਹੀ ਆ ਜੀ। ਕੋਈ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟੌਪ ਦਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੋਊਗਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਦੀ ਅੱਖ 'ਚ ਅੱਖ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਦੀਪ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਆਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਰਹਿਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਉਹ। ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਨਾ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ, ਉੱਥੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਜੀ ਜੀ। ਹਾਂ, ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਾਂ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਗਏ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪਿੰਜਰੇ 'ਚ ਹੀ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਦੇਣੇ ਜੀ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰੋ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ 1 ਮਿੰਟ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਲਾਓ
ਜੀ ਜੀ, ਜ਼ਰੂਰ। ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ।
ਸਿੱਖ ਫॉर ਜਸਟਿਸ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਲਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਪੂਰਾ। ਹਾਂਜੀ,
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਫॉर ਜਸਟਿਸ ਦਾ। ਨਾਲੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨਾਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਯੂਕੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਫॉर ਜਸਟਿਸ ਦੀ। ਨਾਲੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖ ਫॉर ਜਸਟਿਸ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਮਤਾ ਆ। ਉਹ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਆਜ਼ਾਦ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ ਥਰੂ ਪੀਸਫੁਲ ਮੀਨਸ ਐਂਡ ਡੈਮੋਕ੍ਰੈਟਿਕਲੀ ਉਹ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਫਰੋਮ ਆਊਟਸਾਈਡ ਆਫ ਇੰਡੀਆ। ਅਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ, ਇੱਥੋਂ ਹੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਕੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ।
ਜੀ ਜੀ, ਨਹੀਂ, ਸਿੱਖ ਫॉर ਜਸਟਿਸ ਓਨਲੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਫॉर ਜਸਟਿਸ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਚੱਕਰਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੀ। ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਬਾਕੀ ਤਾਂ ਡਰਾਮੇ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜੀ। ਇੱਥੇ ਹਰੀ ਝੰਡੇ ਲੈ ਜਾਓ ਤੇ ਕਾਲੀ ਝੰਡੇ ਲੈ ਜਾਓ, ਨਹੀਂ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ।
ਝੰਡੇ ਦਾ ਰੰਗ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਪੱਕਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ
ਐਵਰੀਡੇ ਬਦਲ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕਿਸਾਨ ਮੋਰਚਾ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਹਰਾ ਝੰਡਾ ਚੱਕ ਲੈਂਦੇ,
ਖਾਲਸੇ ਦਾ ਝੰਡਾ ਸਦਾ ਤੋਂ ਪੀਲਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਪੀਲਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਪੀਲਾ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ 'ਚ ਗੂੰਜਿਆ ਵਾ ਤੇ ਮੋਦੀ ਦੀ ਨੀਂਦ ਉੱਡ ਜਾਣੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਜੀ।
Thank you for calling in.
Okay ਜੀ, ਭਾਈ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਫਤਿਹ।
So we've had a couple of messages coming in, and I couldn't help myself but laugh. Some of them are funny though, but this is a serious topic, so we have to keep it serious. So let's just start.
I just wanted to update people on what's happening on the 26th of January. So the build up in Chandigarh first and foremost. So the Sikh groups have surrounded.
We're getting another call coming through. Hanji, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਕੌਣ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਆ?
ਮੈਂ ਨਿਸ਼ਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਬੋਲਦਾ ਵੈਸਟ ਲੰਡਨ ਤੋਂ
ਜੀ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ, ਇੱਕ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਵਾ, ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਆ
ਜੀ।
ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਾਰੀ ਕੌਮ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਕਿ these our political prisoners, they are sitting in the prison long time for nation, for the people, to save our young generation. They have no any personal cause to do these things what they have done. So now our nation's duty is to wake up and stand for them, to release them as soon as possible. They must do everything
our organizations, our gurdwaras, must they do meetings in weekend and must do everything what they can do. I think they can do lots. They can do demonstration outside the Indian Westers and bring in the international levels. Our young people are sitting in half of life in the prison. And I think everybody can do, all our sisters, brothers, everybody can put his part in this movement to stand for the prisoner. They are our political prisoners.
ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਗੁੱਡ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਮੇਕ ਕੀਤੇ ਤੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਇਹ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਬਲੈਕ ਲਾਈਵਜ਼ ਮੈਟਰ ਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ, ਜਦੋਂ ਕਾਲਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਸੀ, ਉਦੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਥੇਰੀਆਂ ਛਾਲਾਂ ਮਾਰੀਆਂ। ਜਦੋਂ ਪੈਲੇਸਟਾਈਨ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਆ, ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ, ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਟੀ-ਸ਼ਰਟਾਂ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਕਹਿਤਾ ਸੀ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਪੈਲੇਸਟਾਈਨ, ਏਦਾਂ ਉਦਾਂ ਨਾ, ਨਾਲੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੈਨੋਸਾਈਡ ਨਾ ਕਮਿਟ ਕਰੋ। ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ, ਜਦੋਂ
ਉਦੋਂ ਜੈਨੋਸਾਈਡ ਕਮਿਟ ਕਰ ਲਓ, ਉਦੋਂ ਜੈਨੋਸਾਈਡ ਕਮਿਟ ਕਰ ਲਓ।
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਜੈਨੋਸਾਈਡ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ, ਫਿਰ ਤਾਂ ਹੋਣ ਦੋ, ਕੋਈ ਚੱਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਫਿਰ ਤਾਂ ਮੂੰਹ ਹੀ ਪਾਲੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ, ਹਨਾ। ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ that ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੌਮ ਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਇਹ ਕਮੀ ਆ, that when there's any sort of other protests, whatever it may be, Black Lives Matter, Palestine, Free Palestine, our people are ready to go out with the flags and scream and shout in the streets. But when it's our community's issues like this, how disgusting is this? For 30 years, you got our prisoners sitting in cells, in disgusting Indian cells, where ਕਿਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਗਲਾਸ ਤੱਕ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ। And we know for a fact, ਸਾਡੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਹੋਏ ਆ, ਕਿਤੇ ਜੇਲ੍ਹਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਸੀ the prisoners. I'll give you an example. ਹਰਮਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਸੀਗੇ ਜੇਲ੍ਹ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਹਿਰ ਖਿਲਾ ਕੇ they poisoned him. They poisoned him and they killed him in a prison cell. And that's what they do. When someone holds a chance of coming out, or someone, there's a potential chance that they would come out and they would be the leaders of the Qawm, or they would be the leaders of the community, they poison them and then they kill them in prison cells, because they don't want the Sikh community to have a fierce leader who won't take no for a no, who will never say that I'm going to sell out the Sikh community. They want those sort of people dead. And that's what they've been playing. They've been playing this game for so long, and this is what they want. And I think that we've done this show today. Personally, I didn't want to give my personal views today. I wanted other people to join us and share their views. But these are my views, and I'm going to be open about them, because this is what we need to start doing as a community. We need to start being open. There's no point in hiding in your houses and looking out or peeking out from the blinds and saying, "Oh, what's happening outside?" You know what's happening outside. So just come out and face the music, and we're gonna be facing this music together. Come out to the protest on Thursday, 1 p.m. outside the Indian High Commission, and raise your voice. Stand in solidarity with your brothers. They're all going to be there.
Yeah.
So anyways, we've had a couple of messages come in. We had a couple of thumbs up, and that Gurdev Singh decided to say Khalistan Zindabad, even though this isn't a topic on Khalistan. But yes, Khalistan Zindabad. Gurcharan Singh should be UK leader and unite with Amrpal. I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Get me more into trouble. Get me more into trouble.
Someone goes, great work. Great to see you lot doing live streams now. I will spread the word. I like the little fire in there.
Thank you.
India follows orders of UK. Indra was a puppet of 10 Downing Street. Focus there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some truth in that. Yes, definitely. Man like Sunny. And democratic vote in the UK doesn't even count these days. How do we expect Bharat to offer us something better? Well, yeah, that's a solid point from my brother right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for all the brothers that did message, and that there was a couple more messages, but some of them weren't exactly something that we want to be showing on here. And 1 second, wrong one. The lines are still up and running. There was about 7-8 people that did call in, and I wasn't able to take the phone calls because of the technical issue. So please, if you want to call back, you can. We'll keep this running for another 10-15 minutes, and then I think we're gonna be shutting off after that. We don't want it to get this long as it is.
I just wanted to come on the leadership front, really. So Kejriwal, the entire left wing in Punjab and the left, the Socialist International, if you like to call it, they worked together to bring Kejriwal as the leader. They worked collectively and supported him, made him the mainstream political leader, both in Punjab And secondly, to a degree, they tried to bring him as the main Sikh leader for the Sikhs outside India as well. Now, one thing we have to learn, that we need the capacity and we need the ability to work together. You see, when we talk leadership, now we have leadership, we have plenty of leadership. Now, Amritpal is facing the Indian state in its face. We have other leaders outside, the SFJ and a few others. Now, the problem is, if we don't support these leaders, they can't become mainstream. There is a point, time and point, where we will have to support these leaders. One thing, there's a great lesson to be learned from the entire Deep Sidhu scenario is the Qawm in itself missed a great opportunity when Deep Sidhu needed us or our support, and when these these people of no credibility were calling him a traitor, people absolute nothing, zeros, were calling him a traitor. People, he needed our support, and we missed a great opportunity. We missed one of our greatest leaders of the age, which we had in Deep Sidhu. But the only thing I can reiterate is we need to support our people, and we need our capacity to work together so we can encourage and support new leadership, both in Punjab and outside Punjab, to come through. We can't have these leaders who are picked out of the bag overnight by shady people and presented as leaders. People who can't speak. We have a situation. There is a lot of these shady people in UK or various other Western countries. They're portraying people as leaders who can't speak English or Punjabi. And they are pretending to be leaders of the Sikh Panth. And and the capacity of them is absolutely zero. And we have activists in Punjab. Yeah, go on.
I feel like what you just said there, you're banging right about that. So some of these so-called leaders come in the scene. What they do is they create a lot more diversion, and they end up creating cults. And what this is like a domino effect. So speaking to a lot of other people as well, because we always get messages from loads of people. What this occurs is that a lot of people get pushed away then, because people come with their own personal agenda. They want to be these leaders. They create their cults, and they just create a lot more problems within the Bond.
And I think this is where the problem is.
Organizations, or they've got their own individual issues whatsoever. But I feel like if you are Bantik, leave your personal problems at the door and just come together, love the Bond, regardless of anything.
The next question was, what should the Sikh nation be doing now? I think both of you kind of answered.
I think one thing we need to understand the build up on the border on Delhi in Chandigarh. Now, this is one very crucial point in time today, because India is going through a very, very tricky situation. We have seen the documentary released by the BBC on Narendra Modi. BBC is calling Narendra Modi a genocidal killer and blaming him for ethnic cleansing. That is a major, major political statement. People must remember, UK is the head of the Commonwealth, still has so much power they can remove the entire Indian regime if they wish to, and if there was a political need. For them to openly come out and call Modi a genocidal killer, it is a huge, huge political statement. We need to understand the implications of that statement. And we need to mobilize. Today is a very great time to mobilize as a Panth, because any leadership, even be it Amritpal or the other small militias in Punjab, we need to support all of them. And my message to them is, please work together. If you are incapable of working together, at least try to keep your mouth shut and don't talk nonsense about each other. Just keep your mouth shut and work together. And the issue now is in this critical situation, we need the capacity of working together. And I think the Panth as a whole outside India has shown a capacity of working together. Referendum for Punjab referendum, over 1 million votes have been casted. And that is a capacity of the Panth of willing to work together. And that is, this is not got to do with any organization. A lot of people will give credibility to SFJ, but Pannu himself has said this has nothing to do with him. He said this is the collective need of the Panth, which has shown a capacity to work together. And we need that capacity in Punjab as well. And people need to realize India is facing trouble. So Bolsonaro in Brazil got taken out. Next step is Modi. Let's be absolutely clear. After Bolsonaro, Modi is next on the list. But the difference between Bolsonaro and Modi is Modi has the backing of the Rashtriya Swayansevak Sangh or the RSS or the Sangh Parivar. Removing him is going to break that country, shatter that so-called union into pieces. And that would be a great political opportunity. And elections are next year. So the build-up, this BBC documentary is regime change. People need to understand. If you wanted to understand what this policy or this program is, this is regime change. This is regime change through diplomatic means. And Modi has already banned that documentary being released in any parts of India. So severity of what is happening in politics, we need to understand. And Sikhs now, if we mobilize ourselves, can play a very critical role. Our flag will go up. It will depend on our ability to work together at this point and to understand the situation that we face ourselves in. And today, I think I was listening to Amritpal Singh, and I know he's been struggling lately. Some of the individuals, characters around him have, I think what's the diplomatic way of putting, have been not very helpful. But the situation, the way it's coming at the moment, and the way the future is shaping up, I think there is a making of a great leader there, and we need to work. All of us need to work together to have one of our own people become the leader. They made Kejriwal, somebody who was a nobody, a leader in Punjab. We need to show the capacity to work together so we can make our own brother a leader in Punjab.
Sure. Thank you. That's some really wise words from Gurcharan, and I think there was a lot of knowledge that was given out to the viewers there about Punjab's situation and just overall, all worldwide, as Sikhs are coming together to release in support of releasing the Bandi Singhs. I think that those are some really good points that the nation needs to wake up, and they need to choose a leader that and they need to stick by that leader, because we need a leader right now, and we got one, which is Amritpal Punjab, and we got some leaders that outside. I
think outside. I think the issue with outside Sikhs is the Sikhs outside Punjab are very organized. I think I can talk about many other issues, but I think Sikhs outside Punjab are very organized, and that's a good thing. There might be some competition, but that's different. But I think the problem which we have is there's so much penetration of Indian intelligence within Punjab, and the issue with that is the way you counter that is us outside working together more. Our minor little issues on X, Y, and Z should disappear when it comes to the Panth. Panth is the only issue. And we need to... Panth first is our political policy. Panth is absolute, and Panth should be first. Anybody who, deters us from the Panth, and we know who's he working for.
I think with a lot of the Panthic organizations, a lot of the time it's down to the hankar and the ego as well. And I think
as my experience in last 20 years, I wouldn't even say hankar and thing. I would just I would be blatantly honest, and it's all finance, to be honest. Nothing else but finance. And
finance
the problem,
there are some certain people that are within the community that really definitely know how to break people away, and that could be that they could be financed, and they act in such a way because they've been given money and they've been told, okay, this
because you see, Gurmat has taught us kirt karni, and these people who don't do kirt, honest living, and don't expect the Panth from them. People who haven't worked a hard day of honest working, don't expect the Panth from them. They have already walked away from the Panth. This idea somehow people who haven't done a honest day of work and they are going to be Panthic, seriously, that is against the principles of Guru Nanak. These
Sunny,
people are deluded.
Okay, Gurcharan, that was thank you for the kind words that you shared with us. Apne Sunny, do you want to kind of put out your narrative on this? What can the Sikh nation be doing right now? What can we do? What can we do as a community right now to kind of help the situation?
I feel like what everyone has to do is that obviously different organizations specialize in different things, which is great, and we definitely need that variety. And but obviously we've been speaking about this for a while now, but it is good that people do want to do seva, really great, but I feel like there's more seva to do than just giving out langar. And I feel like that's what a lot of charities do now. A lot of Sikh charities do. They just want to give out langar, give, but which is all right. But if there's certain organizations that are already doing it, just let them be and support them. But come up with a different plan, different idea on how you can support the Pant. And not just support the Pant, but support other communities in different ways. So I feel like what happens is that few charities, so there will be, I've heard this story as well, but from one of our followers messaged us saying that there's a new charity organization, giving out langar when there's already another one that's down the road from them, and it just doesn't make sense. If everyone's doing the same things, how are we gonna proceed and move forward as a Bant? How are we going to move forward if everyone just wants to focus on one thing? At the end of the day, a 5 has 4 fingers, 1 thumb, because they have different capabilities, different abilities, and if one hand has literally all fingers which are the same, that hand isn't going to be useful. So
100%.
every finger's got different purposes, functions. Same way with us as organizations, Buntik organizations in the UK, we have different uses, and we need to wake up and do our das, and hopefully comes one day what our uses will be.
I think we've touched on loads of points today, and I think that we've kind of really opened up on this Bandi Singh topic today, and hopefully the viewers that have been listening in have been informed about what's been going on and what's happening around Punjab. We wanted to do the podcast in Punjabi, but then again, it has been represented in Punjabi all over all over Akal TV and all that. So we thought AK Media does something different, which would be doing it in English. So we've done the podcast in English. So anyone out there, once this podcast is posted on our actual YouTube channel, please share the podcast so people are a bit more made aware of what's happening within our community, why we need to create this awareness, how important it is to us as a community, and what's happening within our community. So all of that kind of adds up, and we've tried to cover all of it in this podcast. And if there's any sort of feedback you guys want to give about how we do our podcasts, maybe I'm not doing a good job, or maybe somebody else, and you can always give us feedback, and we're taking on the chin. We like criticism from our viewers. If there's anything that you think that you dislike, just be open. Say, we don't like this about your show, we don't like that about your show. Can you cover this topic? Can you cover that topic? We will take that on board. The AK Media setup was that we listen to everybody. Everyone has a voice, and that is the motto of AK Media. One more call coming in. Hanji, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Fateh. Khalsa Ji, I would like to say is a very good point you taking for our business. I just want to say, because our media, they called Punjabi media, they do nothing. They talking about to build up gurdwaras, langar, other things. Why not they taking issue about to tell our nation to stand for our prisoners? So you are taking very good point and doing your effort to this time for prisoner and wake up our nation, our people. So you're doing very good. We will stand with you, and we are with you.
Thank you.
So I think we must make more programs and car rally, whatever around the Bazar, to show the international people, young people, take with us as much as we can.
Thank you. Thank you for your
All
message.
the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that there's been a lot of support on our channel today. I mean, we've had so many phone calls come in, but we haven't been able to take them. I do want to apologize to everyone that has been listening, and we haven't been able to take your phone calls today.
I think you need more than one line. So
yeah, I think we're gonna have to for next time, and that it was the, I would say there's about 15, 20 calls, and that because of the technical issue, we haven't been able to take them. My appeal to all the gurukars around the country, especially Singh Sabha South, will fix up, really fix up, because this is the lowest of the low. If you're saying you're turning around and you're turning a blind eye to the Bandi Singhs Morcha, seriously, it shouldn't be us ringing you up or messaging you trying to tell you, you know what, you should be putting up posters without anyone saying anything to you. You should be putting up posters. It's your duty as a gurukar, especially the one that's the biggest out of the whole of Europe. Apart from that, I think we've concluded on everything. We will definitely do another topic this week. I think that there's loads to be talking about. Thank you, Gujaran from Dal Khalsa, for coming on. Sunny, thank you for taking out time. I know you come back from work. You've had a busy day. So let's just finish on Fateh di Sanj Paiye. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
and end the broadcast.